Welcome to the Growth Arena podcast, where we'll dive deeper together in the arena of personal growth, mindset, and finding happiness in the everyday grind. I'm your host, Dr. Kaan Celebi, entrepreneur, physical therapist, father, husband, and of course, relentless explorer of what it takes to thrive in life. Welcome back to the Growth Arena. We are starting season 4. And this season is all about one thing, and that is creating with courage. Over the past 3 seasons, we've built a good foundation. We've talked about many different things from action to happiness, fulfillment, the inner game, as well as identity, and of course, resilience, getting back up when you get knocked down. And now it's time to all of that inner growth and move it outward, right? We can't keep it all in. The only way to grow is to actually step into the arena. So this is what season 4 is about, putting yourself in the arena in a new way to create, to lead, and to leave an impact. And honestly, this whole podcast wouldn't be here. This would never have started if I didn't step into that myself. When I first thought about starting the Growth Arena, there was a lot of hesitation. And I've touched on this in many different episodes, but I think it's important to chime in again. I still get imposter syndrome from time to time when I sit in this chair and I look to record. Who am I to talk about this stuff? What kind of education or training or background do I have that, puts me in a position to speak on it? Who would listen to it? Who would ever listen to it, right? But the idea, it wouldn't leave me alone. And eventually, after a lot of thought and after thinking and reflecting, honestly, I realized it wasn't about being ready or being trained for it or being certified for it or having experience coaching or teaching people in this specific area. It was about just me willing to start to talk about this stuff. And as I said in the past before, why I started this is to be a better person, to be a better man, to be a better husband, to be a better father, to be a better son, to be a better business owner, all of it, right? This is why I started this podcast. It was always selfishly for me. The more I talk about this stuff, the more I get into this stuff, the more I challenge my own self, the more I hold myself accountable to do what I say I'm going to do. To do what I talk about, what I'm going to do. And that was a big part of it. And me stepping into this with that first episode, even, I still think about it back in January of this year. That's what courage looks like. And that's exactly what this season is going to be about. And that's why we're starting the first episode of this season talking about the courage to begin again. Because the truth is, every meaningful journey requires us to begin again and again and again. New projects, new chapters, new versions of ourselves, they all require courage at the start. And most of us never start because we're waiting for the perfect time or for the fear to go away. And honestly, spoiler alert, and you know what I'm going to say here, that fear, it never goes away. It never, ever, ever will go away when you're looking to take something new on, when you're looking to step outside your comfort zone, when you're going for change. That fear will always be with you. Yes, it comes in different varieties and different capacities, but it will absolutely be there. Courage isn't the absence of fear, as we all know. It's moving forward despite of it. So a few main points that I want to make here. Number 1, why beginning again matters. Growth isn't linear, it's cyclical. So every new chapter, whether it's in business, in relationships, in health, it demands a restart. I see this all the time with my ACL clients at the ACL Academy. They don't begin just once after surgery. During the rehab process, they begin again and again, each time they advance through the phases of the recovery. So for example, walking for the first time. It's such an easy task. We take it for granted. But after surgery, guess what? You're challenged to get up and on your feet. And when you just had surgery, the leg is in pain, it's wobbly, it's stiff, you're unsure, and that can be scary. How about when they get into the gym for the first time, trying these strength exercises for the first time as another scary moment. Then once they get strong again, well, guess what? We got to get more dynamic and we start jogging for the first time. And that is a challenge for a lot of athletes, just getting over that mental block of actually getting going with it. And then once jogging goes well, now we got to get more sports specific. So we may start jumping. We may step back onto the field. Each one of these phases is another new beginning, another new challenge. And yes, it comes with its physical challenges, but it also comes with its mental blocks. And when all is said and done, when you go through months and months and months of this rehab process and you're back and you're ready to return to the field, well, guess what? That's another mental block. To step and play that first game for the first time, you will have a big challenge. It will for sure make you nervous. It will take courage to step back on that field. Each one of these phases that I'm talking about for this recovery process, for life, anytime you're taking on something new, anytime you're getting out that comfort zone, you are being for sure hit with fear. And the only way that we get through that is we do face it head on, that we do put ourselves out there. And each phase of life, each season of life, each season of growth, it takes courage. The second main point that I want to make is the myth of perfect timing. And we hear this all the time. We wait for a clear runway. Perfect timing never comes. Clarity comes after the leap. I talk about this all the time here on this podcast, how much I'm not about perfectionism, that I am not about having the full plan, everything, perfectly outlined, because you know what? That will never come. You will plan and make sure that you think you have every step figured out. I'm a big figure it out as you go person. That's the only way I get moving. Because I know if I settle in and I start thinking about all the ifs and whats and why nots and all the paths forward and all about here's what can happen, here are all the possible outcomes, here's everything that go wrong, well, guess what? My mind will be spinning. And I guarantee you that's most people. It's very hard to say to yourself, I'm going to plan this perfectly before I get started, because chances are then you'll never get started. So it's all about, yes, having a great idea and whatever you choose to do. It's all about knowing the path forward, what you're going to do, how you're going to take it on, but then you got to get moving. You don't have to have it all figured out. And I try to embrace this concept so much because I know, as I said before, stalling or making things perfect or thinking I'm going to make things perfect is a stall tactic, is a way that I'm afraid, but I'm not going to say it. And it's a way for me not to move forward just yet. We need to step into that courage. We need to take that first step. And confidence doesn't come right away. It's not going to come right away. You can't expect it to come right away. It'll come later. It'll come when you continue to show up, when you continue to push forward, and when you stay consistent. So that is how the courage is built, through the reps. Which brings me to my main point. Courage is greater than confidence. You don't start with confidence. You build it. Confidence is built. Repetition builds belief. I've been getting in front of the camera for over 5 years now, and it doesn't make me nervous. I hit record and I just start talking. Sometimes I talk and it is a little bit more mapped out. Sometimes I talk and it's off the cuff, and I don't really get nervous then. But I could think about a time when I first started doing this stuff. It would be take after take after take. In order for me to record a 1 minute reel, for example, or 90 seconds or whatever it is, it would take me an hour. One recording, one small post on Instagram, it would take me an hour. But if I didn't do it, if I didn't start that, well, then I would have never developed the confidence. And if I just posted sporadically, or if I got in front of the camera every so often, well, I would have never got better at it. But when I did start posting, I did it every day. I didn't stop. And when you don't stop, when you get the reps in, the confidence builds. So that first video that took me an hour, the second video took me an hour. The third video took me maybe 57 minutes. And then the fourth, 50 minutes. And then it got better. And it got better. And then it got better. And now, if I want to put something out, I literally, if I have an idea and if I want to put something out, it'll take me 60 seconds to record it and another 60 seconds to put it up, because I have to write a small caption for it. Right? That's how quick it can take. But that only comes with repetition. So anytime you're looking at something, well, how am I going to get confident in it? Or I don't feel confident yet, right? When you talk about, again, opening up a business or starting a practice, okay, whether it's a physical therapy practice, medical practice, litigation practice, whatever it may be, you get your degree, you start practicing, medicine or law, and you say to yourself, like, well, I don't have the experience just yet to have my own practice. Well, what's the difference if you're doing it yourself or if you're working with somebody and seeing their clients? It's the same thing. The difference is you don't know the ins and outs of business. It's not that you don't know the ins and outs of treating clients or serving clients. You know that part. That's the easy part. And you're going to gain experience the more you do, whether you work for somebody or work for somebody else. And the business part, well, it's figuring out piece by piece. In today's age, it's so easy to access help. I mean, we have artificial intelligence now where you don't even have to Google stuff. You can literally go to ChatGPT or any of the other AI systems and start talking to them like you're humans. Start saying, like, hey, you literally can write, hey, I want to open up a business. What are the steps? Right. And then you'll get some broad answer. And then from that broad answer, you can get into more specifics. And then you could say, all right, how do I chunk this down? It'll literally give you a roadmap of how to do it. That's how easy it is in today's technology, but we still get in our own ways. The only way that courage will come is you taking that first step, you putting yourself out there. So for sure, courage is so much more important than confidence, but confidence is the benefact. Confidence is what comes if you have the courage to step in and be consistent daily. The more reps, the more confidence you build. That's the linear relationship that those two have. If you never step in, if you never put yourself out there, it will never be that way. So really, what's the takeaway? What's the challenge here? I want you to ask yourself, where in my life do I need to begin again? And it might be your health. It might be a business idea in your career. It might be in a relationship or even rebuilding trust for yourself. There is absolutely an area of your life that needs a reboot, a restart, change. We all have it. I want you to find that thing that you want to change. I want you to find that thing that you want to restart. For me, this podcast started with a personal project. So just getting it out there, beginning it. But now what? Now that I'm 6 months into this podcast, what's the next thing? Yes, it's growing steadily and where I want it to trend, but is it just going to be a podcast and that's it? Or am I going to take it to another level? Am I going to take it to more than just infotainment and learning and listening and putting out these weekly challenges to you? Am I going to build a movement? Am I going to start coaching and providing for growth arena clients from a mental standpoint, from a physical standpoint? So I have certain ideas that I want to put out there that I've been thinking about, especially over the past few months. So now the next steps in this next chapter, in this next 6 months is, well, now how do I start making change more concretely in people's lives? And it could be one client at a time. But these are the things that I'm looking to challenge. So why am I talking about in this podcast? Well, number one, I'm putting it out there. Number two, I'm now holding myself accountable. Number three, this is the challenge to myself. So figure out that next step. Over the next months, you will start to see that evolution. And the reason I'm talking about it here, as I've always said before, this podcast is for me too, right? For me to change too, for me to step up too. So that's my challenge to you, is to find your reboot, is to find your new thing. What is it? Okay, where do you want to change? And this season, I want you to ride with me. We're going to explore what it really means to create with courage, starting from ugly to facing the fear of being seen, to leading others, and even defining your own legacy. But it all begins with that first courageous step, to begin again. So as you go into this week, ask yourself, what's that thing you've been putting off because you don't feel ready? And what would it look like if you just started? If you just started? That's where growth begins, and that's where courage lives. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you here next time, right here in the Growth Arena.
Thank you for stepping into the growth arena today. I hope you found value in this episode and feel inspired to keep leveling up in your mindset, personal growth, and road to happiness. Remember, growth is a journey and not a destination. The most important step is the one you take today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who's ready to step into their own growth arena. And for more information and insights, connect with me on Instagram, Kaan_Celebi, or visit us on YouTube at _growth arena. Until next time, keep growing, keep pushing, and I'll see you back here on the next episode.